Let me take a moment and talk about Riverside.fm. It allows you to record studio quality audio and up to 4K video. When you need to record audio and video, Riverside.fm can do it. So if you're looking for a hero platform for all your recording needs, from podcasts to webinars to any video content, Riverside.fm. I've got a promo code for you where you'll receive a 30% discount on the first 3 months of your subscription. I'll give it to you twice. The promo code is SHIPIT. All one word, SHIPIT, and you'll pick up a 30% discount on your first 3 months of your subscription. Riverside.fm.
In this episode of the Football History Headlines, we discuss a couple of great Super Bowls and a rule that George Halas helped to create to keep kids in school, as well as many more Hall of Fame birthdays and legendary stories, all coming up for you in just one moment.
This is the Pigskin Daily History Dispatch, a podcast that covers the anniversaries of American football events throughout history on a day-to-day basis. Your host, Darren Hayes, is podcasting from America's North Shore to bring you the memories of the gridiron, one day at a time. So as we come out of the tunnel of the Sports History Network, let's take the field and go no huddle through the portal of positive gridiron history with pigskindispatch.com.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Hello, my football friends. This is Darren Hayes of pigskindispatch.com. Welcome once again to the Pigpen, your portal to positive football history. And we have some great information to share with you today about the events in football history on February 6th. And let's get right at it, and we'll start off in the year 1926. And George Halas helped to get a rule passed where, as NFL clubs were prohibited to sign players whose college class year had not graduated per the ProFootballHallOfFame.com website. The rule was intended to help potential players to get their education completed before joining the league. Now, it's awfully funny because just a few months earlier, in November of 1925, in fact, 3 or 4 months earlier, George Halas and the Chicago Bears signed Red Grange 1 week after he played his last game at Illinois. So he had not graduated yet. He played at Illinois Saturday before Thanksgiving. The Friday after Thanksgiving, or Saturday after Thanksgiving, he played for the Chicago Bears. So it's awfully ironic that the Bears and George Halas, he got his way and then decided to change the rule. It's a good thing. It's a good rule change, but it's awfully ironic and funny that he violated that rule that he was creating and pushing through just a few months later. Now, February 6, 1983 at Aloha Stadium in Honolulu, the NFL Pro Bowl was held. The NFC squad squeaked by the AFC by the narrowest of margins, 20-19. It doesn't get much closer than that. The most valuable players in this edition from each conference team: Dan Fouts, the quarterback of the San Diego Chargers, and John J.J. Jefferson, the talented wide receiver of the Green Bay Packers, were selected as those MVPs of the game. Now, February 6, 1994, Aloha Stadium at NFL Pro Bowl. The 1993 season, the boys from the National Conference all but shut down the American Conference team 17-3. Wideout Andre Rison, who played for the Atlanta Falcons at that time, took home the most valuable player honors. Now, February 6, 2006, we had another NFL Pro Bowl game played at Aloha Stadium, and it gave the fans the love of offense their money's worth. The NFC team put up a 51 burger and surpassed the 31 points of the AFC to get the bragging rights for that year. The game's most valuable player was wide receiver Randy Moss, who was then playing for the Minnesota Vikings. What a talented individual he was. February 6, 2005, Alltel Stadium in Jacksonville, Florida. It was Super Bowl 39. It was one of those classic championship games that the league just dreams of. The Philadelphia Eagles of Coach Andy Reid came into the contest with an impressive 15-3 record to battle Bill Belichick and his New England Patriots, who sported an even better record than their opponent of 17-2. After a scoreless first quarter, per the American Football Fandom webpage article, the teams traded touchdowns in the second and third quarters until the Patriots gained an advantage in the fourth by going up by 10 over the Eagles via Corey Dillon's 2-yard touchdown plunge and another additional 3 points from Adam Vinatieri on a 22-yard kick at the 8:40 mark of the fourth. Well, Philly cut the deficit to just 3 after the 2-minute warning when quarterback Donovan McNabb of the Eagles found a streaking Greg Lewis on a 30-yard scoring strike. The Patriots held on to defeat the Philadelphia Eagles 24-21 in that exciting game. The game's most valuable player was given to wide receiver Deion Branch of New England, who snagged 11 balls from Tom Brady for 133 yards, but did not score a touchdown in that game. Branch was the third offensive player to ever win a Super Bowl MVP honors without scoring a touchdown or throwing a touchdown pass, following the path of Joe Namath and Fred Blitnikoff. February 6, 2011 at Cowboy Stadium in Arlington, Texas, it was Super Bowl 45. It featured the high-flying offense of the Green Bay Packers with Aaron Rodgers against the Troy Polamalu-led defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers. One would have to give. Rodgers got the better of this matchup as he threw for 304 yards and 3 touchdowns, and his defense backed him up with 2 interceptions of Ben Roethlisberger, even taking one of them in for a score, aiding Green Bay to a 31-25 victory over the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers secured the most valuable player nomination for the ESPN.com webpage of that game. Now let's talk about some Hall of Fame birthdays for this February 6th. We'll start off in the year 1886. Back in the 19th century, Hatfield, Massachusetts, Jack Hubbard, the great halfback from Amherst College, was known to celebrate his birth. Hubbard was initially a halfback, but his great athletic prowess allowed him to play almost any position on the field with fruitful results. Jack was described by the National Football Foundation as an Iron Man of early football, as he didn't miss one game in his 4 years of college. Though he went to a smaller school, he did not escape the eye of the national attention when he made it onto Walter Camp's All-America team. Jack was a big back for those days at 180 pounds, and he could run like the wind and was strong as an ox. Hubbard was employed in the track talents from hurdles as a weapon when hitting the holes through the line, bumping runs around the end, or gliding off tackle. Jack also was a great kicker, not missing 1 point after attempts in 3 straight seasons. That National Football Foundation selected Jack Hubbard for entrance into the College Football Hall of Fame in the year 1966. February 6, 1950 is our other birthday of Hall of Famers today. In Bayonne, New Jersey, the University of Nebraska's guard, Rich Glover, was born. According to the NFF, Glover's college coach, Bob Devaney, called him the greatest defensive player he ever saw. In Rich's first 2 seasons with the Huskers, they won a national championship in both 1970 and 1971. The next season, they ranked 4th. Nebraska played in the Orange Bowl all 3 years and won every time over some very good programs, knocking off LSU 17-12, Alabama 38-0, and Notre Dame 40-6. And Rich, in 1972, won the top 2 national awards for linemen, the Outland and the Lombardi. Perhaps his most prestigious honor came in 1972, and his picture was on the cover of the NCAA Football Guide. The National Football Foundation voters selected Rich Glover for induction into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1995. In Glover's in the NFL, he was cut short, his career was cut a little bit short due to injury as he played 2 seasons in the league for both the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. And boy, that's just some great football history that we could talk about once again on February 6th. Some championships, some great players, and some interesting stories. So we hope you'll join us again tomorrow for your football history headlines right here, Pigskin Dispatch podcast. You can also find the transcript of this on the pigskindispatch.com. And we have more great exciting information on sportshistorynetwork.com to just fill out your day with about 20 different podcasts that are going on there all the time. Sorry, over 24 podcasts, I should say. And we also have our other sister site, the jerseydispatch.com, and the Sports Jersey Dispatch podcast, as well as Orville Mulligan Sports Writer, our audio drama that we're put together with our friend Oz Davis with our number 80 Productions team. So till tomorrow, everybody, have a great gridiron day. Peeking up at the clock, the time's running down. We're going to go into victory formation, take a knee, and let this baby run out. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back tomorrow for the next podcast. We invite you to check out our website, pigskindispatch.com, not only to see the daily football history, but to experience positive football with our many articles on the good people of the game, as well as our own football comic strip, Cleat Marks Comics. Pigskindispatch.com is also on social media outlets, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and don't forget the Pigskin Dispatch YouTube channel to get all of your positive football news and history. A special thanks to the talents of Mike and Jean Monroe, as well as Jason Neff for letting us use their music during our podcast.
This podcast is part of the Sports History Network, your headquarters for the yesteryear of your favorite sport. You can learn more at sportshistorynetwork.com.
Are you having a hard time figuring out what to get Dad for Father's Day? You should check out Row 1 Brand's Vintage Pictorum Gallery. They have America's best sports art. With over 7,200 historic sports prints, you're assured to find something unique for Dad this Father's Day. Instead of a boring old tie, get him a historic baseball photo taken by Henry High Sandham at the historic Polo Grounds Stadium in New York City during the 1894 Temple Cup. Or, if he's an NFL buff, check out the 1963 vintage NFL poster. These are so good looking that you'll be amazed how they turn out. Shop now at sportshistorynetwork.com/row1 and save 15% off your order.